my own best friend, or I can be my mortal enemy. I always believed that the enemy was the one that lies and cheats and steals, and I thought that was a physical thing. But really, I found out after growing up a little bit that it's a lot more mental and spiritual. Because the enemy isn't one that just lies and cheats and steals out here. But what he really does is he cheats the trueness of who we really are, and he destroys our character. It's all done by lies. And it's funny because it took me to come to a spot, a position in my life where I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't know who I was anymore. And I wasn't proud of myself. And so all these lies that I kept telling myself ended up stealing my identity. And so when I figured I had to soldier up and I had to go to war against this enemy, the very first question I had to ask myself was, why am I lying to myself? And more importantly, why am I wanting to believe these lies? And so I came up with the first answer, and it was because I didn't want to feel pain. When we lie to ourselves, at least when I lie to myself, it hurts. The truth hurts. Lying feels good because I don't have to face the truth, right? And I realized that, the reason why I wanted to believe it was because it's comfortable. I'm comfortable when I'm lying to myself. I can be who I am, and I can say, I am who I am, and you're going to have to deal with it. If you don't like me, screw you. And that all worked. It worked for a little bit. But that ties into the third reason, is it's validation. But what was I seeking validation against? That trueness that was inside me. That was saying, Eric, this isn't okay to live this way. Right? That validation was all internal, and it all ended up coming outward, right? Our thoughts become words. And so those words that I'm speaking inside to myself, that was a losing battle. So I had to verbalize it externally. And the more people that I told these truths to, the more people I had surrounding me that were like-minded. And were saying, it's okay to live this way. It's okay, don't worry. I'll be your friend. And eventually, that's what ended up destroying me. And so when it comes down to it, a good way to explain this is to look at it from a different perspective, right? Instead of looking at everything inside, it's kind of hard to see. On the outside, when I'm messing up and I have a pastor or a coach, a parent, a teacher, someone who cares about me, and they say, Eric, you're messing up, man. You'd be a lot happier if you did things this way. You should really stop doing that. I'd say, you don't know me. I'd get defensive. You don't know what I've been through. You haven't lived from my shoes. And I'd shut them out, just like I shut out the person who I really was. So that's the pain. That ultimate pain is I'm seeking the pleasure first, right? So that's what it all boils down to, is pain and pleasure. The pain that I'm feeling is a result of the immediate happiness, that symptom. Happiness is only a symptom. That immediate happiness that I got from doing the things that I thought I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I finally got to the end result of this isn't me that I realized the pain that all those layers of decision finally ended up uncovering it until I couldn't see anything anymore. So what happens on the flip side, right? What happens if I decide to take the pain first? What does that feel like? Well, the first bit is it hurts because you don't want someone to tell you what you're doing is wrong, and it stings. And some might say that it might fulfill you, but I think it does so later, because the next thing that happens is a decision has to be made. It's either I can do this or I can't. And eventually that I can't do this, it won't stay there. We'll die. We'll die without ever knowing who we really were, who we were created to be. And so the only choice left is I can, and a little voice in your head, this little bit of faith that says you can do it. Keep going after it. Because the next part of your life, the next part of my life, was horrible. It hurt. Pain after pain after pain. Failure after failure after failure. And that other voice, that enemy, he keeps saying, Eric, you can't do this. You might as well just stop. And those old friends are still there saying, come on, it's okay. It's okay. We care about you. But you know what? After a minute, it took a while. It took a lot of persistence and then a lot of just not quitting to get to a point where I finally got a success. But something magical happens after that first success. After that first success that we get, then we start to develop confidence. Right? That faith, that little bit of faith that was there developed into a confidence that we can do this. It's possible. And then we look for the next thing to do. And then we get another success and another success. And multiple successes, that confidence turns into competence. And when you put competence and confidence together, right? Then that next time you look in the mirror, there's another feeling. And at first I thought it was pride. It's not pride at all. It's the beginning of joy. And it all started from that little voice that said that you can do this. That little voice who I believe is God. Because if there's an enemy inside us, then there's also an ally. And the ally there is going to give us the faith to be who we were truly created to be. That inner us that is proud. And once we have that, then we don't need to validate anything externally anymore. Everything outside is just a thing because we're validated inside. That is the ultimate joy. That is the ultimate bliss. I want everybody to have this. Everybody should go to that war, embark on that battle, and come out on top.